Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. I have great news. Ableton has updated Ableton Move. And now you can send MIDI clock to external sequences, and then you can send the sequence data into Ableton Move, and everything is very well synced. And that is great news, because if you have a Novation launchpad like I do, you have at the tip of your hands the best sequencer there is, and you can use it with Ableton Move. And all you have to do is to get one of these USB cables. Funnily enough, the USB port of the Ableton Move is in this side, and the USB port of the Launchpad Pro is in this side. So you can get like a short, cute USB cable, and it just works very well. So what can you do with this? I'm gonna open a new project, and now I'm gonna show you what you can do. So first of all, one of my favorite things is that the drum pads layout is saying here, not here. So if I play, very nice. Alright, so as you probably know, when you open a new project in Ableton Move, the tracks are randomly selected. So here the first one is gonna always be a drum rack, the second one is gonna be some sort of bass, the third one is gonna be some sort of pad, and the fourth one is gonna be some sort of lead. Now in Novation Launchpad Pro you have 4-track sequencer as well. You cannot use the different tracks in the Novation Launchpad to sequence different tracks in Ableton Move. So if I wanted to sequence track 1 with a track 1 here, track 2 with track 2 here, then I couldn't do that. Whatever is active here is gonna be whatever is sequenced, meaning that if I have, for example, and now I switch here, so you see it's gonna sequence whatever is active in Ableton Move. So that is important to know. You can't use the different tracks in Novation Launchpad to sequence the different tracks in Ableton Move. But this is the thing. The sequence in here is the best sequencer there is. And this is a hill that I will die on. This is the best sequencer. I don't think Electron, Teenage Engineering, this is the best sequencer because it's so creative. I'm gonna show you why. So I have these 4 on the floor. Very simple sequence. I'm gonna add snares. Very simple sequence, and I'm gonna add a hat. Very simple, basic sequence, right? And that is the thing with me. I don't have a lot of imagination for drums. I always rely on mutation, random, probability, and stuff like that. And this is exactly what you have here. So for example, I can go into pattern settings, play random tricks, backwards. You can go forward and the backward, you can do a lot of stuff like that. But if we keep it in normal, I like to use this feature to make the basic grooves interesting. In the music I make, I like to have like a basic groove. I don't want to have something too complex, but still I want to make it interesting. I don't want to have like this boring ass sequence. That after 3 or 4 bars is like too boring, right? So what you can do is you can go into probability, you can go into the middle steps, and decrease the probability a little bit or a lot. It's really up to you. Alright, so now some of them are not gonna play, right? And that is gonna change every time it goes back. How can you make the basic sequences more interesting? You can go into mutation and then go into all the middle steps that you feel like need something a little bit more interesting, and then you can increase the probability of having a random sound in each of these steps. You see, now this starts getting more interesting. Another thing is that if it's getting too crazy and you still want to have this sound going all the time, there's nothing stopping you from sequencing this sound here as well. So that's something you can always do. You can combine the sequencer here with the sequencer here. Maybe it's a bit crazy, but it's something you can do. You can, and if you don't like whatever you did in Ableton Move, you can go and delete this pattern. And now this is the only thing playing. Now say that you're like, all right, I like whatever is playing here. I'm gonna record it in here. So that's something you can do. So you can click here, click record, and now it's gonna feed all the MIDI information into here. And now you're just recording, right? So let's keep it at 4 bars. So now both of them are playing at the same time, so I should probably start this one. But now everything is recorded in here. And that is nice because, as I said, you can't use different tracks to sequence different tracks here. So now that that is recorded in here, we can stop it, go to this track, and then start a new sequence here. Alright, so now how you can sequence, let's say, chords. Alright, this is not really in the sequencer of the Novation Launchpad Pro. I mean, this is something you could do before, but remember that in Launchpad you have this functionality of chords. First of all, you can change which scale you want to use. So now this is in C minor, but you can have C major, like imagine that these are the keys of the piano. You can have C major, you can have C whatever, Mixolydian, Lydian, and all that stuff. So let's go for a good old E major, that is E major, and now all the chords here will be E major. But also in the sequencer, if you go to the melodic track, this is gonna be also E major. Nice. Alright, so okay, so let's record that in here. Let's quantize it. That is something you could do before. You don't need the sequencer thing for this, but I want to show you a very cool use case of the sequencer here. You have the major scale, right? So now we can sequence like some, let's go to a different track. See what? Now you can also play with the mutation for this. So now you can go for every single step and then set up a high mutation, and now the sequence is gonna be like surprise, surprise. You know, a little bit weird, maybe a little bit too intense. But something you can also do is play with the probability, and now you can go into each step and lower the probability. And you might not like it, but something you can also do is to try with different scales. So if you go Shift Sequencer, you can change scales in the fly. Not great, but you know, it's there if you want to. Now, if you are more comfortable with the keyboard layout and you're not very familiar with this isomorphic layout or this isomorphic layout, you can go to the sequencer, hit Shift Sequencer, and then the third button here, that means the piano layout. And now if you go to the track of the sequencer, you have like a normal piano layout. The thing is that if you want the piano layout, you have to go back and set up the C major scale, because you want the bass note to be C, right? At least that's what I want. And I can tell that I messed up at the end. So obviously I want this to be an E, not a F, right? So I can delete it, and that is what I want. And now I could also go into probability. It's a little bit more unexpected, and again I could go into mutation. This way you can have a lot of happy accidents, and that is something I really like. Now the last thing I want to show you is that all of this you can do it while having this open. So now you can trigger new clips. Now I'm activating the piano, if you see here, and I can do like that. Now I just switch the track to the other one. So this takes a little bit of practice, but once you get the hang of it, you see the potential. Okay, so the very last thing I really want to show you is that you can, just like you can leave this open, you can also capture, like you will do when you play, everything that this is playing here if you hear something that you like. So for example, if I like that, then I can go into capture, and this is already captured. So now I will stop this sequencer, and now this is playing whatever this played. If you hear a happy accident, and you have a lot of those when you are using this sequencer, you can capture it here, and you know, that is very convenient. I don't want to make this video too long or too boring. I hope you got some value out of it. If you have a Novation Launchpad Pro and you have an Ableton Move, please go update the Ableton Move and connect it to your Launchpad Pro, because there is so many creative options right now with these two devices. Okay, so I think that was enough for this video. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I put a new video out every Friday. So thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.